Okay. I wasn't sure if it was showing live yet. I wasn't really sure about doing this because I'm kind of a mess. In Germany, the windows, they can tilt, so they're not open all the way, but they're tilted. And last night, my cat Maggie was in the room with me whenever I went to sleep. And then this morning, when I went to the kitchen to make breakfast for the girls, I saw that Maggie was stuck in this window. That's my black cat, the one who had the kittens. All the kittens are already in homes, so they're okay. But she was stuck in this window. And her hind legs were already stiff, but she was alive. And I was like, oh shit, my cat's fucking paralyzed. Sent a picture to my friend. Said, I can't get her unstuck. I could not move her legs. I was scared that I would hurt her if I did it by myself. I told my 6-year-old to watch the 2-year-old because my 12-year-old isn't home. I said keep her out of the kitchen so she doesn't see the cat. I went outside, and the window is too high up to where I wasn't able to lift her high enough to try to pull her in. And so I went back in and I was finally able to move her legs, but then her paw still got stuck. So I went back out and she was there and she was, trying to move, but her breathing got weird and she looked terrified and I didn't know what to do. So I went back inside, tried to get her paw out so that I could get her completely out. And my friend, who I had sent a picture to, he doesn't work far away from here, and he was like, I'm going to leave work, I'm going to come help you. Get her out of there and you can get her to the vet, get her checked out, make sure that she's going to be okay. And by the time he got here, she was dead. The reason I'm sharing this is because as someone who chose to share her journey, I feel like it's important that I share this process with you guys. I know to some people they think, it's just a cat. But, to me, my cat is just as much family as any person, right? And I've had her since she was the little kitten. And she's my magic cat, So, this hurts a lot. I understand that, she's not really gone. Her energy, I understand the transmutation of energy and all of that, but she suffered. And there's claw marks on the wall where she was trying to free herself, and I couldn't hear her whenever this happened because I was in my room asleep, and my kitchen is on the other side of the apartment, and it's a big apartment, and the German walls, you don't hear anything through it. So the reason I'm sharing this is because it was my initial reaction was, of course, sadness. Because my cat died in front of me, and I couldn't do anything to help her. And then I got angry immediately afterwards, because why did she try to climb out of a fucking window and break her fucking back? And then guilt kicked in, because I couldn't help her. Um, and then ego kicked in, hardcore protective mode, and immediately the urge for drinking. I mean, immediate urge to just get drunk, go to sleep, and just not fucking deal with it. Immediately kicked in. And Clad was here. And I told him, I was like, is it too early to just get drunk and just go to fucking sleep? And he was like, yeah, don't do that. He's like, that's just gonna make it worse. And I was like, yeah, I know. Plus, I got 2 kids here. I can't just get drunk at fucking 9 o'clock in the morning. So, I'm sharing because if somebody experiences loss, pain, and we're on that journey of healing and trying to be better, I've never heard that. But she suffered. Like, I don't know. I don't understand why she tried to sneak out the window like that. Like, she's never done that. I don't know. But whenever we have experiences that are emotionally draining and our old habits want to kick in, our old coping mechanisms try to take over, we have a choice. Do I fall back into old habits, even temporarily, to temporarily mask the pain? Or do I sit in it? Do I sit in it and accept it and try to go from the point of, the person who tried to save her cat and had to watch her die, into observer mode, and understand as the observer that this person did whatever she was able to do in the circumstance she was in. So, as an observer, I can see that this woman was alone with 2 children in the house, young children in the house. She had to keep the young children safe and away from the situation to not traumatize them, while going in and out of the house, trying to save her cat, which the whole experience in itself was, even traumatizing for an adult, because it's not something that we, are able to just be like, oh yeah, cool, I just watched my cat die. Like, that's just not, it's not how we function, right? So as an observer, I can tell myself she did what she could. She also had to make sure the kids were okay. She had to go back and forth. She had to keep them calm. She had to keep herself calm. So I can see that as the observer. As the person who did what she could, I still feel guilty. I'm like, why didn't I wake up in the middle of the night? Why didn't I wake up earlier in the morning? Why didn't I hear her meowing? Because it's literally physically impossible to hear her meowing the way this building is set up, the way this house is set up, the way these walls are built. Because German houses are all stone and cement. So there's, the whole human what if, why not? And I understand that it's not that I have to shut it off, it's that I have to step outside of that mindset and understand that I did what I could. And that sometimes these things happen and maybe this happened for the whole purpose of me sharing that. so that people can witness someone on their journey doing shadow work in this state of mind. And I've been doing it all morning. You know, I had to go do stuff. I brought my cat to my mom's house. My stepdad's gonna bury her in their yard. That's where my dog is buried too. She passed while I was in America. We had her a really long time. So she'll be on family property in our little pet cemetery that we have. And then I went and I took care of my grandma. And usually every time I'm at my grandma's house, she goes, "You're in such a good mood today. You're always in such a good mood." And today she saw me, 80-year-old woman with dementia, and she goes, "You don't look good today." And I was like, "Yeah, I had to watch my cat die." A couple minutes later, she forgot I told her. She was like, "You don't look good today." I was like, "Yeah, my cat died." So, it's been a long morning. Cried driving, cried at my stepdad's house, cried at my grandma's house, cried in front of the store, cried in the store, cried on the way home, opened the front door and Maggie wasn't there. Cried some more. Thanks, Janine. So, I'm just gonna keep working through the shadow work aspect of it and acknowledge the pain and acknowledge that, you know, old habits kind of try to emerge in situations like these where, you know, we try to fall back into old coping mechanisms, which for me was alcohol and sex. So I'm aware and consciously making the choice to not fall back into those cycles, even temporarily, because I know how they end. And I know that they're not going to fix how I feel. They're not going to help me feel any less guilty or sad. Sometimes we just gotta sit in the fucking pain and let it pass, right? That's the whole process. Is to deal with the emotions, acknowledge them, accept them, have compassion for ourselves, forgive ourselves. So I'm working through that. It sucks. It does. Thank you. And like, the worst part is really that she suffered. That's the worst part, is to see the claw marks in the wall. And the way she was hanging there when she died. Like, that's the worst part, that she suffered and I couldn't help her. And she was terrified and I didn't know what to do. She was only a year old. A little over a year. It's August. A year and a couple months. My other cat, Kitty, came up and sniffed her. I'm not really sure how cats emotionally process stuff like that. I don't know. Kitty seems to not really give a damn. But Kitty's also didn't really like Maggie too much. At least once Maggie got older, she didn't. So my 6-year-old was hyperventilating. She cried to the point where she was hyperventilating. So we did breathing techniques. She asked where heaven is. I told her that heaven is a state of mind. And she said, "Well, where did Maggie go?" And I said, "Maggie went home." I said, "Maggie went home and she gets to choose which life she wants next." Maybe she was just supposed to be here long enough to have those babies. I don't know. I don't know. Like, if she had been sick, or even got hit by a car, you know, knock on wood that doesn't happen to Kitty, but like, I would have understood that. That would have been something I could process, right? She was sick. She got hit by a car. Like, those are things that happen often, and we can process that. Yeah, I have friends and family, and they know that if it really got to the point where I wouldn't have control over it, that I would say something. But yeah, so like, it's just the way she died is so fucking out there. Like, it just does not. Can't wrap my head around it. Cannot. So while I was driving home, crying, my spirit guides were like, you should process part of this on the internet. And I was like, I really don't want to. But then it was like, fine. Because I don't say no when they tell me to do something. And it makes sense, right? If I share my journals, and I share how I learned lessons, and I share the lessons I learned, it would only make sense that if I reach a point where, you know, shit's going on and I gotta work through it and process it, it would only make sense that I would come on here and share it. I would have preferred writing. My head hurts. I don't know if it's because I cried or if I'm just tired, but my head hurts. Yeah, I've been crying for like 3 hours, so. Yeah, I guess that's it. Working through the emotions, letting them flow. I'll probably cry on and off for a couple days. I haven't told my son yet. He's at my sister's house visiting. It's gonna be really hard for him. Yeah. My 6-year-old was like, I want another cat. I don't want Kitty to be alone. Kitty doesn't like to be held by the children. Maggie was, you know, their cat too. So, Kyrie's like, I want to get another cat. And my friend, unknowingly, she didn't know that Kyrie and I were having that discussion, but at the same time, she tagged me in a post where somebody's selling black kittens. And I'm like, yeah, no, I'm not ready for that, so. It sucks. A lot. So I'm gonna go clean Maggie's cat bowls and clean out the litter boxes and everything, and keep growing, I guess. And then I gotta go pick up my daughter at kindergarten. Do mom stuff. I don't know if I want to cover the scratches on the wall or not. I don't know. I know that I know nothing. Right now, all I got is feelings. And they're not happy. It just doesn't make sense. her back legs were stiff already. And it's like I knew that her spine was broke when I felt her legs, when I saw the position she was in. And I saw her legs. And I felt them. Like, I knew. I told my friend, I was like, I think she's paralyzed. I gotta get her out of this window. I don't know what to do. She's stuck. I think she's paralyzed. I need to get her to the vet. And it's like her legs got unstuck, and I don't know if that disconnected or completely broke through a nerve. I don't know. But I walked out to the other end, and she, her front legs were moving and everything in her head, and she was trying to like push herself up, and I was trying to get her up. And then she started to breathe really weird. And I was like, shit, Maggie, let me go to the other side and undo your paw and try to get you out. And by the time I was back around, she was already gone. So, I feel shitty because I couldn't help her. I feel shitty because she was in pain. I feel shitty because she was scared. And I feel shitty because at the moment that she actually died, I was on the other side still trying to get her leg out. Instead of actually being there with her. I really tried to help her. And I couldn't. I couldn't help her. It would have been fine if she would have been paralyzed. Like, probably would have needed donations to help with whatever she needed after that, but like, it would have been cool, I was mentally prepared for that, but not for her to just die from one segment to the next. Like, that was a lot. Alright, I gotta call my son. And I'm gonna go sit with my daughter. Make sure she's okay, and then I'm gonna go clean up. So there's that. I'm not gonna fall into old coping mechanisms. I know what they are, I recognize them. So I have no excuse to accidentally get drunk, right? Or call someone for a booty call and pretend that's all it is, when clearly it wouldn't be at this point. So I'm just gonna keep doing what I do. And just let the emotions flow as they come up. It's the guilt part that's the hardest. Feeling guilty about it. And my mom, she was like, don't feel guilty, you couldn't have done anything, You did what you could. And as the observer, I understand I did what I could. But still. It was my job to protect her. Alright. I'm gonna go do stuff. To figure out how to get rid of the guilt, I'll let you guys know. Alright. Thanks, guys. Bye.